Y'all, infidels, hacker, Hamin.podbean.com, YouTube.com, Ben Hamin channel, where we're working on the weekend like usual, way off in the deep end like usual. Infidels swear they passed us, they doing too much. Haven't done my taxes, Stevie, I'm too turned up, and I got to get on that TurboTax free edition and start hammering it out so we can get raped and take more money out of us. You thought you had the stimmy? Good rib, infidels. It's the Monday locker room. YOLO. Yeah, man, here we go. Look at this all-star lineup, maybe here to kick off your Monday. The big soldiers are in the house today, man. I needed some backup, and these guys stepped right up, stepped forward, and volunteered for the suicide mission that is the Monday locker room. It's Dr. Jargo, it's Dr. Stevie, and it's Patient Zero Hamin, infidels. Here, Jargo, how you doing this morning with your bellow flat brim on, brother?
I'm not worth a damn, Hamin. You know, when I agreed to this show, I didn't realize there was a pay-per-view I actually had to watch last night. You made me suffer through like 3 hours of WWE TV just so I could sit here and do a show with you and Stevie. Okay, I guess that was worth it.
It's been a long time since you've been in the torture chamber, man. I had to give you some extra lashes. And Big Stevie Cool, he watched the pay-per-view twice last night. That's how much he liked it. And he's back in action today. Stevie, thanks for joining us on Monday.
I think the bigger accomplishment, rather than watching the pay-per-view twice, is the fact that I did not try to commit suicide twice.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal, man. And yeah, I'm gonna get into it today because I don't want to.
No offense to anybody out there who has committed that or tried to. How's that?
Yeah,
cover my bases.
I guess whatever. If they would, if you have suicidal thoughts, don't watch wrestling, please. It's not gonna take you away. You're just gonna get more frustrated. I don't know. I saw people selling for a lot of stuff last night. There was some good, plenty of bad and head scratching things finish wise, but reactions that I'm seeing from people I want to talk about, and maybe mental health in wrestling, Stevie, of what you've seen through the years. But we'll get into all that, man. What did you guys have a good weekend? Anybody do anything cool this weekend?
I'm house shopping, man. And I tell you what, house shopping is the most stressful thing I think I've ever done in my life.
Right on. Yeah, dude. And then when you go to sign the papers and it's 300 pages long of just like, here's the contract for the end of your life.
I'm at this place now, right, where it's like we're trying to get all of our ducks in a row so that we can do this. And so we're looking at all these places. We looked at 16 places this week. 16 places. And of course, the wife is addicted like crack to looking at like Zillow and looking at all these homes on the internet. And she's like, oh, I really like this at this house. You're going to have to be a little bit more specific, honey. We looked at 16 goddamn houses and they all look the same. It's kind of like wrestling. I've seen so much wrestling in the last week that it's like, what show was that on? I forget what house that was. Was that the one with the hardwood? Okay, well, that narrows it down to about 12.
Yeah, man. It's such a process, but I mean, that's the major life purchase. So you don't want to rush into something just to get it done. But dude, I got a feeling I'm going to be on that train in the next year. And I know Stevie's been all over the southern, southeastern section, kind of doing the same thing. But even though he's more of an apartment guy, got a little more flexibility in what he wants to do. But, you know, Stevie, you know the Zillow routine too, bro. I can definitely feel that.
Well, I had a little bit of a stint in real estate here and found out it wasn't for me because I'd rather deal somehow with the carnies in wrestling than the carnies in real estate. And Zillow is set up as the realtors pay Zillow, by the way, you know, real estate agents. It's a big racketeering type thing. Probably maybe not quite to the point of that, but close to where these prices are. I'll just back up for a second. This is what I found out from looking. And for people that say, well, if you're renting, you're throwing your money away and this and that. Well, okay. Well, if you put 20% down on a house that's valued over $100,000, what it's supposed to be, and then you have to waive the contingency clause or the appraisal clause and pay 10 grand cash, or I wager to say throwing away maybe 15, 20 grand over in rent in a year is probably not a bad idea because you can walk away anytime you want. But going into these houses and seeing this is what it really is. And I'm trying to think my way through it because it confuses the hell out of me. It's literally home buyers being marks. They're being marks.
Yeah.
They're driving the prices up because they have an emotional connection to this place, like your wife is staying, which nothing's wrong with that. But you have to figure out what you got to live in this. Don't say, oh, we're just going to, if you say I'm going to move in 5 to 7 years, why are you even buying a house in the first place? Because all the guy's thinking about is, holy shit, should I even unbox half this stuff since we're going to start packing like a year out anyway?
Right.
Well, and the problem that we're having now is, of course, we had those big storms last summer.
Mhm.
So every place that you look at, and it's like new roof, new water heater, new this, new that. And my first thought is, how big was the tree that came down on that house?
Yeah. What aren't you seeing?
There's little things too, if I can just say this quickly. The whole thing with looking for anything like this, you have to just figure out what you need as opposed to what you want. We have a home gym here in the apartment, which there's still people to this day tell my wife, how could you let him turn the entire apartment into a home gym? Well, you know, you guys know what the affiliate business has done over the past year. I think my wife made a really good decision doing that, but we've been trying to have a more minimalistic approach to everything, including the home gym. What do we really need? What brings us joy? What do we have intention with? And also what makes our business money? Obviously, there's going to be a revolving door. That frees us up to say, we don't need 2,000 square feet. If we have a garage, that's even better because our living space doesn't need to be that big because the gym will go in the garage. We're trying to figure out a way to make things smaller. And then, of course, this is the wrestler thing too. I've seen guys that thought that they could pay a mortgage for 30 years based on what they made that year. And it's a very volatile business. We all don't know what we're going to make today, much less this week, this month, this year. And that's why you say I'm more flexible. Not really, man. I'm scared to death every day when I wake up. Oh man, hopefully I'm going to get some sales. Hopefully I'm going to make some money. If not, I'm going to save every dime I can. And I'm not throwing into a house that I can't, or we can't afford, or live our life in a minimalistic way. You and I had the argument last week, or the discussion, where I said we were pivoting and trying to figure different ways out with the Biden, the gas prices and all that stuff. And you had a great point on that too.
I forget already what my point.
I said, we're going to figure out ways to save money and really live more and restrict our spending and all that stuff and save. And you said, what? Why should we? Why should we bow down to their rules that change every day?
Yeah, they're changing the game no matter what it is on taxes, stimulus checks. It's going to be rebranded, for universal basic income after they hook you on it. And why we keep, following all of these, you got to jump through this hoop. Oh, but when we rewrote it this way, check on your IRS stimulus. Okay, I'll check on it. No information right now on anything. Well, then what the fuck do you have this website up for to do this? Like, it's all like the dude with the dollar on the fishing pole. Oh, you almost had it. You almost got it for every little cent that we scrap. And, this is going to go in without naming names. There's been, I got to go no less than 8, possibly 10 people, 3 to 4 I have weekly contact with, who are just, they can't handle life anymore, bro. And these are workers from the inside who have it all, and some have been trying to scrap, and now some who've been trying to scrap are just going along with this fucked up program, thinking that it's gonna make their lives better if they get a gig or what have you, and they're not prepared to even handle the basics, let alone to go there and get fucked with. You know what I mean? Then there's people who are there in all 3 companies that I talked to, who we worked our ass off to get these opportunities. Some of us still haven't got them because we play terrorists or whatever that they'll never put on TV. But fucking then they get it. They have to do minimal, and it's like the biggest fucking chore in the world, and it's just too much to handle. And there's a dozen of us over here with drool coming out of our mouths going, I would fucking kill my mother for that fucking spot after 15 years of working. And now it's too hard. Like people who came up through the grind and now they've got it and it's too hard. Well, explain to me what's too hard about it. Well, nothing really. I just this, that, and the other. And how bad is it really? And Stevie, I wanted to ask you this. Have you seen this in 30 years in the business of people who get it and then they just can't handle it? Or is this a toxicity of 2010 till now of a generation where everyone is virtue signaling, being a huge pussy? In ECW, when you guys are doing whatever you're doing, dropping blood, fucking in WCW with fat checks, were people going, I just can't handle this. I can't do it. And I've seen people in developmental with anxiety attacks over things, but that's no money. That's just trying to get up there and play the game. Did you see people on top during that time who were like freaking out because they can't handle it? Or even if they were, would they sell for it? Because you don't do that shit in front of the boys.
No, there's people like you see there. I think there's an Austin documentary on Steve Austin that's out or coming out. Then you see some of the WWE 24 stuff and they recall that era. You would have no clue. Hey, everybody pretty much played. If you sold anything at all, you would get hazed even worse. Your weakness would be exposed and everything was a test.
Hazed by haze.
Hazed by haze. Yeah. Not necessarily the person I would tell Mark Henry go up and greet at the Hall of Fame ceremony, but that's okay. I just feel like it's reversed itself. I don't know if we can ever go back to a happy medium, because I was one of those guys that was hazed pretty bad in WWE to a point where I was being tested when I didn't need to be tested. And then I was literally being tested, like drug tested, when there were guys were walking by looking like action figures, laughing, and weren't tested. So I don't know if there's ever going to be the happy medium of it polices itself in a way to keep the brand strong, to keep the business strong. Everybody needs to be on the same, much like a football team, I would say. If you are not in line with making the team better, if you're not in line with trying to win games and work together within the system, you're eventually going to, write your own way out of town. Mm-hmm. Wrestling seems to be opposite, where if you do everything but try to really further business, you seem to fail upwards, if that makes sense. It's always kind of been like that, but there's certain things that disrupt the flow of certain things. And I think you can speak on this better, Ben, because Rip very well. The business was designed, this is an Al Snow phrase, the business was designed to keep as many people out of it as possible back in that era.
And now there's a sea of fucking indie workers who toe the line, guys who should be getting a shot and I don't even think they're trying to play the political game because they don't know how to do it. And when they try, it's cute and it makes it's business exposing bad that they're just suckholing to try and get a gig. But chances are they will. But they're demeaning themselves and putting shit over for what they know is rotten. And then they keep doing it. And, a guy I don't know that this was the controversy, and I'm sure is in this same, instead of stepping up and be like, give me my fucking spot and stop fucking with my relationship, Andrade's gone from WWE. One of the most forgettable runs in history right here, but everyone's putting him over with Rush, Leo Rush. No, Rush from Mexico. And he's coming to your neck of the woods, possibly in Sinclair, but is anybody really watching? Is ROH going to move the needle at all because they have Andrade and they're back with some CMLL thing that got over for 2,000 people one time, and now it's projected like it's the greatest ever? I just don't get it, Jargo. What do you see, man? I know you posted a pretty interesting diatribe about it.
I keep hearing the Ring of Honor thing, and Ring of Honor right now does have a huge influx of lucha talent inside of the company. You have La Facción Ingobernable, which is basically Los Ingobernables, but they couldn't call it that because CMLL owns the trademark, which got over more in Japan than it ever did in CMLL. La Sombra and Rush, both founding members of Los Ingobernables. So that's what everybody is looking at. What they're not looking at is it's very much this kind of situation where La Sombra was the leader, Rush was his first lieutenant. La Sombra has left and Rush has taken over as the leader. So you would basically be having this constant power struggle between two guys who barely speak English. Their strong point is inside of the ring. I think Andrade would be much smarter to go to New Japan Pro Wrestling and like team up with somebody like a Sonata for a year, maybe two, reinvent yourself like Hideo Itami has. I mean, Kenta, that stink is basically gone off of him at this point. because he put the time in. And I just
he came back to AEW with pink hair and a stupid fucking briefcase, and that lasted for all of 3 weeks. Oh my God, it's Kenta, and then he gone.
Yeah, and now he's just gone. So the whole Forbidden Door thing is so in flux, and I feel like the majority of that is because of the pandemic. I thought there was a huge opportunity missed last night at the NWA show. I would have thought for sure at the end of that show with Nick Aldis standing tall, that's when we would see the appearance of Kenny Omega, where he came out and challenged Nick Aldis for the world's heavyweight championship. He's doing the whole belt collector thing. He's going to go around. He's going to get every world championship that he can before he finally faces off with Kota Ibushi, his long lost lover from fucking Japan, for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. That's the story that they have been telling for 2 years, that I've been telling everybody they've been telling for 2 years. It's going to be God versus the devil, and the devil is going to win, and then Okada is going to come back and get the fucking New Japan belts, and it's a whole goddamn thing. But the pandemic has everything kind of running in quicksand at this point.
I know that's your bread and butter, and the way you laid it out is perfect. None of that looks to draw.
Nobody's gonna fucking care.
That doesn't draw a fucking dime.
No, because they're not telling the damn story.
You just said it. The story that you have to tell people. You have to tell people the story of the story. That means they're not appealing to casuals when you have to explain what they're trying to do with pro wrestling.
The problem is nobody knows when we're going to be able to get Kota Ibushi and Kenny Omega in the same place at the same time, because, you know, you got to fly halfway across the world and there's a global fucking pandemic. So in the meantime, we're doing all this stupid shit that nobody cares about, and it's just damaging the overlying story that they can't tell. They're just running in quicksand.
Well, it's not on the level of what I'm about to say, but how long were Mayweather and McGregor talking shit about? How many years? It's just called a build. If they're not patient enough and it's not good enough build for make people want it and wait for it, then you're already dead in the water anyway.
They're catering to a niche of a niche of a niche, because the whole story is neither one of them will acknowledge that the other one exists. Well, that ain't going to put any goddamn asses in seats.
I agree on all that. I mean, they even did the Impact thing wrong with just to keep it on Swan, which isn't, I mean, I like the shit out of Swan, don't get me wrong, but the money's on Moose, and really the money's on Moose going over on Omega, not the other way around.
But they're not going to do that.
No, that's already blown out of the water. They missed that bus. The number 36 is already down the block. You ain't going to catch it.
I mean, unless Moose is the one that takes it back from Omega.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe, but I don't think they missed it. They missed the chance to get him up there. Now he's not the property he should be. You know,
it's kind of Impact's thing right now, isn't it? Always like a day late and a dollar short.
It seems like it, man. Unfortunately, having the best show out of them all and the lowest viewership all the way around, and then just making bad finish decisions, which I think was the absolute id of Fastlane, of watching these finishes, was just like one stupid piece of business. I mean, I put $3 down on all the long shots, lost on all of them because they were all plus, but it's just like it was all the right business to do. So let's do all the wrong business at the end of the day. Before we move on from that, though, I still
can't believe people bet wrestling. This is something that still fucking escapes me. I wanted to say real quick, just be the devil's advocate. Everything you guys are talking about, this is kind of like the conspiracy horseman thing, where I'm going to try to really look at things and debunk them, and not voluntarily, and hopefully go down some sort of rabbit hole that might not be true. We're looking at just numbers that both shows are barely drawing 1 million people between AEW and Impact.
SmackDown lost 100,000 going into the pay-per-view from 2.1 million to 1.9. Go ahead.
It's probably not good business or good for your media group for me to say nobody gives a fuck about pro wrestling. Nobody cares about it. It doesn't mean anything. And they're not doing themselves any favors to make it better and work. The era of the Monday Night Wars to try to hotshot any angle. You can take your good old time with every single thing you do. The same people are watching, but you know what might happen? If you take your time and you get people to care, somebody might tell somebody might tell somebody else, somebody might come back, somebody might tell someone else, you should come back. So why if everything else is working, the definition of insanity, you keep doing the same thing with actually less results, ratings going down. What's wrong with just doing the opposite for a change, for a time? What are you going to lose? Impact is going to go out of business one way or the other. So you might as well do something.
I feel like part of the problem is even when you do good business, the fans just bitch about it. You know, like
when have we seen good business? That's what I'm looking for. Like, where the fuck is it? And when I know good business isn't, when bad business is done, and now I watch, this goes back to the bubble, and that's what I kind of wanted. And you guys can go where you want with this, but I saw 3 responses this morning from people whose minds are as educated, if not more so than mine, in wrestling, who book shows and book TV, putting things over that I know that they know are wrong. And it's not just me fooling myself. I'm watching their, politically correct, go along to get along, treat people with respect and be positive, and you can get a job in this industry. Well, what the fuck does that do for our art form if everyone's just sucking each other off and not saying what's wrong and how do we fix this and get max value? Instead, we're booking finishes that are absolutely meaningless leading into fucking the biggest show of the year with fans coming back. And now I watch 3 people who I've known and respected for 10 to 15 years just dick in each hand fucking all over their face, bro, to try and fucking get a gig. And the business is dying because of that fact. There are no gatekeepers except Russo Brand and Hamin Media Group and Jim Cornette, who are holding anybody's fucking tits to the fire on this shit, bro. And everybody else is just giving up, and I'm going to go along to get along and ride it right into the ground. Because this is my dream. It's your dream to fucking work in the worst time in wrestling when you know better, and what they'll just do this lip service shit and shut the fuck up from what they really know and go away from their education, where time vilifies us over and over and over again with what's really going on here. This wrestling bubble has sucked so many people in and fucked their heads up that they are now living in a 1984 split personality disorder where their education tells them everything they're seeing is wrong, but their mouth and their paycheck will have them bend down on bended knee saying, TK, Vince, you guys are so fucking great, dude. And I'm really at the fucking end of my rope with it, bro. I really am.
I think you just explained why I watch New Japan Pro Wrestling and not WWE.
I got you. Well, if New Japan wants to pay me to watch it, or Russo wants to pay me to watch New Japan, I'm happy to do that, bro. I'll gladly shit on their stuff too. Stevie has the thickness of the wrestling bubble, has the post-concussive syndrome, has the fucking PTSD and the what's the effect there? Stockholm syndrome just really increased in the last 10 years, or is it the same thing? And it's because of social media why we're seeing this.
I don't quite know. Maybe it's stopped being such a meritocracy, and now that Thunderdome and without fans have not gauged anybody deserving any kind of money or working towards any kind of upper card or anything. There's no rhyme or reason why anybody gets a bigger push. There's no rhyme or reason why anybody gets any more money. There's no punishment. There's nobody taken off TV for doing the wrong thing. You don't get taken off TV for hurting people. A lot of the things that made the business what it is, or was, I should say, are essentially gone. So you're talking about entitlement. You're talking about this new generation that gets paid to go to wrestling school, that gets that was probably the first mistake. And I hate to say that, but getting paid to go to wrestling school really gave people too much of a safety net to not really feel the desperation and not feel the sense of urgency to get better. Kind of like if you're given a live mic with no script, you go out there, you succeed or fail on your own. You might fail a few times, maybe it'll give you a second, third chance, but you're not going to get chance upon chance upon chance to do that. And I think that's why back then, organically, the business was so much better, because real moments really did happen. And then the promoters and the bookers and the people who ran the company said, okay, let's go with it, because this is kind of like put right on our lap. Let's make the most out of it. Not now. It's like you might get a week or two out of it, but you're not going to get a complete angle of going in the WrestleMania SummerSlam or longer than that. Or the last time it ever happened, I think, was Edge, Matt Hardy, and Lita was the the real piece of business that really turned into something where they went with it.
Sure. So let's go ahead.
In a messed up way, does this go back to Hall and Nash? Because I mean, that was when the guaranteed contracts really started kicking in, was when those guys made the jump, and then everything went the direction of the guaranteed contract. But they're no longer are they trying to put asses in seats. No longer does their paycheck rely on the simple fact that we have to draw because they have guaranteed contracts. How much of that comes into it as well?
No, I don't think the guaranteed money, Jargo, did that. I think more of the creative control did that. Of wrestlers on TV that were also bookers, that you can't split your focus. Even with the best of intentions, something's going to suffer. Al Snow once again said that, and everybody has said that throughout history. Anybody that's ever booked the territory and been on top, something has suffered. Now, here's the thing, the just like football and other things, you're going to play for free. You're going to do things for free. Maybe not only, you might be under the table getting paid in college, but you're working towards the guaranteed contract. You don't get the guaranteed contract at the performance center before you even got on TV and got your 3-month or 6-month probationary period. When I went to TNA and I knew that I had no name, I had jobbed everybody for multiple years. I didn't want to be Stevie Richards ever again. They created the Dr. Stevie character. Russo gave me vignettes. I came in for an insanely low amount of money. And the way I understood it was that if you get over in 6 months, we're going to give you a full-time deal. We're going to do whatever we can. Of course, they hired Hogan, Bischoff, Rob Van Dam, Jeff Hardy, and somebody else all in one night. And there was no money left for me, just like the poem says. So that was a calculated risk based on the era I came from. Now, more times than not, that risk is paid off. And that's what's not there today is the risk. Right. Betting on yourself, the risk versus reward. You have to bet on yourself each and every day. Go ahead.
I know Frank Pickle Barrel asks, avid HMG follows, just joking here. Well, Stevie, you were never over, as we say that. But I was on Russo's YouTube this morning, and I got triggered hard, bro, and usually I don't. It was when you were doing the monologue, that's the micro clip about Bobby Lashley devaluing himself backstage with that promo. And some cocksucker who's not being ironically funny, it was like, what does Stevie ever know? He never held titles, and like the classic verbatim. So I even responded as Russo. I just like, bro, the guy was in the highest rated segment in the history of Monday Night Raw. Be better, bro. You know what I mean? Like and I know I'm talking to fucking know nothing marks here, but and they're in a bubble of their own that I don't even want to be in. But how do we fix this mentality? Is it fixable, or are we just really at the bottom of the barrel now, where people from developmental? Because I was there. What you're saying is absolutely true. When they're making their $750 a week, and we're going to work mark jobs, and then paying Rip to fucking follow our dreams, and they're just having to go to the gym and eat tuna, and they don't have to do shit, and they're wearing Nike Shocks and Affliction shirts, acting like they're the fucking masters of the universe at 4th Street Live. That was the division of we're over and you're not over. You look like shit and we're fucking, we might be body guys and whatnot, and you'll never be us, even though you can do this shit better than we do because you're putting your heart into it, and we're just mailing it in now because we fucking got the stamp of approval. That's kind of where that started, 2005, I believe that, with DSW, OVW for sure, and definitely FCW. NXT's on a whole nother level of complete dementia of where they think they fucking are in this business. Guys who want to stay in NXT and not go to the main roster and take fucking head shattering bumps week after week after week for nothing. But this greater sickness of that this business breeds. And I think I also go back and say you're right on that. They open the doors for too many fans to become wrestlers, and now once they put their time in, they just can't handle it. Or is it to the being a victim and being oh woe is me is just the new fucking attention trend? Because if you would have done that 10 years ago, oh woe is me, your ass would have been thrown out of the fucking.
Someone would have seen an opportunity to take your spot and get more over, or bury you to get over with the office. And going back to the comment, that's fine, because a lot of things you got to have a thick skin when you have your own business. And it is a definite struggle. I've told the story about PJ when he wanted to get into the culinary business at Olive Garden as his way of getting trained and breaking into that. And fans were harassing him and calling in and basically trying to get him fired. And he eventually had to leave that job, if I get the details correctly. But the overarching theme was that, they see the value as a human being. And unfortunately, the office sees your value as a human being according to your fake subjective push in wrestling. They work themselves into a shoot with that. So the whole thing with fans, I get messages all the time. I'd say this all the time, and I don't even know if I should. People telling me, you were just a jobber. Why are you running a fitness program? You should just fucking kill yourself. You're not Chris Jericho, which is the best comparison. I just laugh at that. And that's nothing against Chris, but it's almost ironic and trolly in a way where you're not even compare me to The Rock at least, or somebody that's, I have no chance of being that in physical shape, but you got to have a tough skin about it. And that's the reason why with wrestling is there's guys like me and other people, Vince, you, Jargo, everybody else that wants to almost move on from the demographic. No offense against the people that are in this chat room or anybody else, but it's very much a demographic that eats itself and doesn't convert sales, doesn't really buy much of anything. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not talking about our loyal people, because everybody has their loyals, but I'm talking about the general wrestling fan watches wrestling to almost not enjoy it and almost does stuff to complain. And the fans do become wrestlers. There's no longer a wall of what there used to be. So it's what it is. And people don't like that. Like, why would I, here's the thing too. When someone says, your program sucks or this and that, or why would I buy this? Or you don't have a coupon on a $15 program. I don't really say anything at all. But then when I say things like this, they get mad. We're like, we're not going to buy your fucking program. No, you weren't going to buy it before. So what am I really losing? Right. I don't know where I'm going. I'm going a little bit on a tangent about it, but it's that kind of stuff that it used to tie. And this is advice for people in the business. Let me bring it back around to the people that get sensitive and go into Twitter wars with people with 19 followers and things that you inform me of, because I'm not on Twitter. I don't tweet unless it's trying to sell programs or do stuff that furthers the business, and occasionally tell Tony Khan, see you soon, neighbor. But, but I removed myself from the environment. Like, why would you chase somebody that's saying bad things about you and you're never going to change their mind? Why are these wrestlers, instead of going to the people who are billionaires that run the company to try to figure out how they can get over with them, they're chasing the person on Twitter with 19 followers, knowing they'll never change their mind. As a matter of fact, those people say, I got them. I got this person to sell. I got them to respond. And the more you do that, it's just lowering your value and not doing anything but increasing their value. Does that make sense?
They don't have any value at 600 followers. It's just I got to respond.
Well, it increases it from zero. It gets them recognized, because guess what? We talk about it on this show. Oh God, this person got into, Natty got got sold for a Twitter poll. And like, I'd sell
for a fucking YouTube strike. You're right. Like on a 800 follower gimmick of, thanks for stealing my show, but I only spend millions on it. Oh, dude. I mean, oh, come on. I mean,
it's real at the end of the day.
Embarrassing to be even fucking in the same conversation with these people, bro.
I don't wake up every morning hoping I get a lot of likes on Instagram. I don't wake up. As a matter of fact, most mornings I wake up, I don't even think about posting anymore. I've really jumped the shark with social media. My whole thing is trying to obviously help people, but it has to be within a business model. It has to make money. It has to do whatever I can to help support my family and reinvest it back in here so I can help more people. Mm-hmm. That takes up a lot of time. Your Hamin Media Group stuff takes up all of your time.
Oh, and then some.
And when you do get into an argument, or you have some kind of, if you have any kind of drama that's within the group or within anything, you're like, God, I'm losing fucking money dealing with this shit because I should be going back in that. Jargo with his career, with his business, with his projects too. If you get caught up with stuff, it just takes away. And then the people that really are loyal, like the people in the chat room who follow us, our customers end up suffering for it, and that's not cool. Everybody gets hurt.
Yeah. That's the problem, is like, well, where do you go to scale it back? But shout out to the chat. We're 42 strong here. Big Evil Pops, our own propaganda master.
I'm going to wait too long on that one. Sorry.
Jared Canditor, Timbo Slices here, Mike Martin, Gully Blanchard. I like that one, man. That name pops me. J Cred 101, Classified Chappie, Corey Valo Carver, bro. 3-piece name. He's wearing it strong this morning. And I know there's plenty of others. Scott Woodford with the super sticker this morning. Cujo hitting them jokes. Classified Chappie and Society Reviews. Appreciate all the heavy hitters here from Hamin Media Group enjoying it. Fastlane Finishes. So here we have EST and Sasha versus Team Pretty.
Japanese.
And it should have been EST and Sasha over. Instead, they fall apart on the pay-per-view before. They should have fallen apart on night 1 of WrestleMania, and then paid it off on night 2 with EST going over. So that business is botched out of the gate. Now we have 3 to 4 more weeks of Nia just doing her thing and Sasha being a bitch and EST not getting over as the super babyface she should. They should have gotten over as babies on the big heels. Then when Sasha turns at WrestleMania night 1, it would have fucking meant something. So they lose the belt back to Team Pretty. And then fucking the next night, Sasha should lose her belt to EST. Instead, Team Pretty up. The girls fucking go over. We get a Reggie stupid spot, and off to the races we go. Dude, again, in this, Shayna Baszler fucking shoot knees to the face on EST. Then they get her up in the whatever gimmick buster knee drop, and Shayna doesn't get her own hand up in front of her face. We're still doing thigh slaps on rotten shit. And this was just another terribly booked finish that got 20% of the business done going into your main show, but people are fucking going, yay, in the wrestling industry, who I know are smarter than that. Jargo, go ahead. I know you love this match.
The thing is, I watch so much Stardom at this point, and I see so much really, really good women's wrestling from around the world. And then I tune in to watch a WWE show, and I'm just like, what in the fuck are they doing? And I mean, even some of these girls I have seen work in other companies. And I was like, wow, that was really good.
Yeah.
And then I watch them in a WWE context, and I'm just, even Shayna Baszler from NXT to the main roster has just been an absolute train wreck. And she should have just been a monster coming into this damn thing.
Yeah.
Instead, they pair her up with Nia Jax and make her look freaking tiny, which I never understood either. Sasha Banks is the most unlikable babyface that I think I've ever seen in my life.
Was it because she had 5 inches of roots on the top of her head where her hair was brown and blue? Like, you're on pay-per-view, and dude, you got 6 inches of roots. Looks like a skunk trail down the middle of your head, bro. Like, they just don't.
Like a 6 head, man.
You know? Yeah, Klingon-esque. Stevie, 3 words for you. Bedazzled taco pockets. We had it last night.
That was the safest part of the match from what I saw. How do you do this? It's like the jazz finish where you double chicken wing the girl, and you throw her into a knee as Sasha Banks is running. Like, what is going on with this? It's so unsafe. And then I'm looking at that after that finish of, this is where wrestling is completely disconnected. The baby faces are complete, but by the way, the baby faces are some of the most vicious people I've ever seen. And we'll get to that with Big E too. They're vicious, they're mean, but also they're stupid. You obviously, she said they pushed, the breakup of the pin. And Sasha just keeps saying the watermelon, the same thing over and over again that wrestlers have to say when there's crowds. But how shallow and stupid are baby faces that it takes that little misunderstanding to set them off, to cause a fight? That's not a baby face, but
that also seems like reality of being how people are online right now. So it could be more real than anything. But yeah, the watermelon, like, what are you doing? What do you mean? What? That's not your business. What do you mean? This is a tag match. She says right back to her, well, you're just like, oh my God, the 4th grade acting could not be any fucking worse here, dude.
The WWE seems to have a real babyface problem. And in saying that, I mean, they have no idea how to book a babyface anymore.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure that Vince has ever known how to book a babyface. Like the last babyface I really remember getting over in the WWE was Brian on that WrestleMania 30 run. We're coming up on 30.
But how long did it take? They were against this for how long?
Yeah, they fought it the entire way to get there.
Yep, they did. And that, to be honest with you, at the end of the day, is Triple H isn't really that cool of a guy. Vince isn't a cool guy. Bruce isn't a cool guy. The guys who get over is when they let him go themselves. CM Punk, I don't really consider him cool. Stone Cold and The Rock, right? To really get over and how things are cool, as opposed to you're gonna eat this and we say what's cool. Well, no, you're missing again. They couldn't do it with Moxley. They couldn't even do it with the Shield the right way, and then they try and do it with Seth. And
well, I mean, I'm going to disqualify myself from ever getting a job at the WWE right now. Wow. Triple H is like the most overrated individual in the history of the professional wrestling business. NXT, while from an artistic perspective, people may absolutely love it, has been a miserable fucking failure. All they have done is hemorrhage money. They lost the battle to AEW. They're getting bitched out. They've got to go to Tuesday nights. Like, what has Hunter done down there that is so freaking great? Who's the last star that NXT produced? Roman Reigns? I mean, get the fuck out of here. That's all they got is the finger point. That's it.
But now you're a made guy now.
I love watching it, but I mean, when we're actually honest about it, what in the fuck has Hunter done that is so great?
And you can find out on the NXT review with Colin Wysong and the Vet, you guys, here on hackerhamin.podbean.com. But yeah, they have, they got people putting garbage cans on their heads and jumping off shit. They're not.
But I mean, like from every financial, from every business perspective, NXT has been a miserable failure.
You almost kind of root for the guy who showed up with the gun.
Well, let's look at it from a company standpoint, though. How much money do you not have to pay future talent now that you have a factory of the cookie cutter wrestlers that are coming through? Never have a Cena again, just like Ryback said. That's what Hunter told him. So think about the long-term solution of, sure, our products suck. Sure, our ratings suck, but the TV rights and fees that we're getting from these networks have never been higher. So what would you rather have?
Wouldn't they be higher than that if you did have a made guy so everybody else can fucking eat off of that? I mean, that's what Hogan was, right? To feed everybody so everybody can get a slight shine. Now, if nobody is the beacon, the guiding light, then nobody's going to tune in. So everybody's flat. There is no.
Dude, you could literally have 5 guys you get super, super over and pay them. And then almost in a way, you like these Cold War tactics, as you call them, you can almost say, listen, all 5 of you guys, your deals are coming up. I'm going to let you go to AEW, but ask this guy for so much money that it's going to bankrupt the company. And then you can come back. I mean, that's kind of a way to do it.
Why not, dude? I would definitely like to see some Cold War tactics like that. Maybe they are doing with Big Show and Christian, but yada yada. So
Christian Cage, I mean, my God, the way that they build that.
And then,
do you think here's an interesting question? Who would have drawn better ratings, mainstream ratings, Christian Cage or Pat McAfee?
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. How about Stinger? 11 appearances in a row where he comes out to stand at the top of the fucking ramp with Shivani and gets interrupted every single week, bro. Spending money on that's what they're wasting it on, so might as well bleed them dry. Shane is backstage training, doing impressive jumping Muay Thai knees, like he's gonna hit a fucking 6'8" guy in the face with a Muay Thai knee. Comes down, supposedly tweaks his knee in a terrible sell, while Adam Pearce stands there with him. And now the match is off between Shane and Braun, and we get Braun versus Elias and Riker out of nowhere. Braun over Strong. Stevie, there's things that we know that we can't stooge here, and that's just us being on the inside. We'll tell Jargo someday. But no green slime in this one, no hopscotch. I'm surprised. I thought they might do lawn darts. I'm expecting a lawn dart segment next. And Stevie, here we are with Braun as a total rib and Elias as a total rib.
Well, Elias isn't being a total rib. Elias is just getting buried. There's no rib there. That's 100% real. That's not a joke.
That was a nasty choke slam he took. That's for sure, bro. He hit like a fucking sack of shit on that one.
I can see the body language of Elias, and I don't blame him at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, you can feel the energy. As a worker, you can see the lack of energy. And why should he be put, I'm just going to get this over with. I'm sure that, like, there's times too where I was doing a job and I would just be like, let's go home early so we can give the extra time to the main event of Raw or SmackDown. I just wanted to get out of there. Wanted to get out of there. Why should I be beat up for 8 minutes when I can get it done in 5 and it's going to hurt just as bad from a guy that can't work?
Yeah, I agree. We get the same paycheck, right? Why extend the punishment? And especially on the girls' side, something can go wrong in those last 3 minutes, and it usually does when they overbook that way. Jargo, what are you thinking about? I know you were really looking forward to Braun versus Shane. It's one of your favorite feuds.
Of course, everybody knows I'm a huge Shane McMahon fan. I love watching Shane McMahon go to wrestling fantasy camp at least once or twice a year.
I like when he had his Big 7 series in New Japan versus Origami and went over. That was one of my favorites.
Absolutely. When Paul White went to AEW and he got that t-shirt made and it says no more BS.
Mm-hmm.
This is the BS that Paul White is talking about. And Braun Strowman is the new BS.
He is. No more BS. I like that. Works on many levels. Look at this guy. He's quick with the wit.
Was this before or after he was doing the chicken dance during that Japanese girl singing?
Can he get away with that now? Now that he is not like an in-ring competitor anymore, if he is actually making the move to commentary, at what point can he get away with that?
Well, I think after that Netflix show, it's pretty much open.
Right, like that's what I'm saying. Like all the business is exposed at this point.
It don't get no lower than that pile of shit that they signed on for.
No, but with Big Show, this is where we had done some NFL podcasts together, Jargo. The commentators are not going to make excuses when there's a bad play. When there's something bad that they see, they're truly objective. They might not be harsh, but they need to be harsh once in a while to keep their own broadcast credibility. This is where wrestling commentary needs to change too. This is where the talent will do good things too, because if I don't do something good, or this doesn't look good, or this angle doesn't get across, the commentary is going to bury us. That's another safeguard against bad television.
Yeah, we saw some of the worst commentary in the history of commentary last night with that Alexa Bliss and Randy Orton thing. I mean, like they were seriously putting over the fact that Randy Orton blocked a fireball. Really?
He blocked the fireball.
Like, get the fuck out of here.
And it looked
no like credibility.
He just the camera angle looked like it hit him, and fucking he didn't sell it. They're like, oh, he blocked it. He blocked the fire. Who got flame?
Put your hand in an oven and see if you can block the heat.
Like he's fucking Wonder Woman. Like
I'm gonna go to the charcoal grill and I'm gonna block the fire just so I can get it medium rare. I'll block the fire.
We didn't block the fire, dude. Just brutal, Bob. People love that match. I guess it's something different where he follows her around the ring and then the goddamn lighting rig comes down. They better be on their mark on that one, dude, because someone could have died there. But we get Pyro and we get the Fiend with a new burned Fiend mask coming back up through the ring and fucking going over on Orton again with Bliss. And don't smoke cigarettes, kids, or you'll be coughing up that black shit too. So it was as cinematic and stunt show and different how we're going to bring the Fiend back. It wasn't the worst way, but then on commentary, they were fucking up the spots left and right, dude, with the not supporting the story and reacting how they should. If you have to say he blocked the fireball, you're done here. Like we're done. So
the other thing that really bugged me with that match is that they said that it was live. And it was like bullshit. This shit is taped.
Yeah. There's no way that they could have done all that way, but they did have people in the Thunderdome, so I don't know if they did it pre-show or what have you there, but it was it's not a wrestling match. Obviously this is a feature, and not the worst execution that could have happened. You know what I mean? I'm sure
this is just one of those things that, as a TV person, if it says live in the upper corner, I expect it to be live, not pre-taped.
Right. I'm down with that. I think Orton's a big winner, getting Alexa Cowgirl at the end for an absurdly long time while he's knocked out. She's just sitting there, taking the ride for free. So I think Orton losing is the big winner here. But how are they going to fuck up the Fiend next, Stevie? I had actually heard that he was hot from an inside stooge source, that he wanted to go full Illuminati. He wanted to go full reptilian. And it's just way, way over Vince's head.
Or maybe it's not. I like that at least he didn't just come back being Bray Wyatt or the Fiend with the regular stuff out of nowhere. They did something to acknowledge that he was burned. And yeah, that lighting, I wouldn't trust these people with that. I would not trust them with that. I would do the 8K cameras to make it look like it's closer, but it's not. But no way. I wouldn't trust them with that.
A weird thing right after on that, and this is why the business is broke, bro. Randy Orton's wife issues warning to Alexa Bliss after Fastlane. Kim Marie, the wife of Randy Orton, took to Twitter to issue a warning to Bliss after tonight's pay-per-view. Bliss defeated Orton in an intergender match thanks to interference from The Fiend, who returned to TV for the first time since December. The Fiend sporting a new charred look. That's new for the season. Charred. Stared down Orton before hitting Sister Abigail, allowing the Bliss to sexually pin Orton. I had sexually in there to pin Orton for the win. Kim tweeted at Alexa Bliss _ WWE, you might have just fucked up, little girl. Okay. So Randy Orton's wife is tough now and is willing to go to the dark side to defeat Alexa Bliss. And she's not an introduced character on TV, nor does she work, but she might have just fucked up. Why can't they? And this is the same with Randy, too. It's in his household. Fiend takes him out. 12 hours later, he's saying, man, I slept on, don't sleep on Baby Yoda in The Mandalorian. And then there was another one like a month after that, Stevie. They just
Soldier Boy fight. The Soldier Boy. Maybe he ordered the Soldier Boy console and he's mad about it.
He's coughing up fucking black lung tar based off of fucking Voodoo Mama Juju, and the motherfucker's tweeting Soldier Boy within 10 hours, bro. Where is the slap on the wrist to stop this shit from the highest level guys? When Randy Orton's doing it, what hope is there for a Buddy Murphy to not do something fucking stupid? For an asshole on AEW in the Dark Order to be taking his Lucha mask off to take Planet fucking Fitness selfies every day with his golden retriever in the back? Like, if the highest level guy is doing that kind of shit, what are the lowest fucking ignorant people supposed to be doing? And they're doing exactly that.
You have to catch me up on who's this Planet Fitness dog.
Dude, it's the dude who plays X. He's got a great body. He looks like Mr. Spectacular. It's Lucha. You're in wrestling. You keep your mask on until someone demasks you. Your money is in your mask because you're in a crew with 10 other people. Rey Mysterio made $600,000 off his WWE contract, made $10 million on masks, you dumb motherfucker. You should have a different X mask every time you come out, because then when they make toys, you're going to have different toys every time with different looks. Who has the most toys in the history of WWE? Rey Mysterio. But, it's more important to be a 20-something because I'm on whatever B12 and I have to get these vanity metrics in for Instagram, which make you no money. And then you also discredit yourself to the boys in wrestling who want to pay respect to what Lucha really is, and you have an opportunity, but they still keep blowing it off for a fucking quick Instagram hand job to show him and his dog together and that he's a good-looking babyface. Well, guess what? You're out of the crew, and now you're a good-looking babyface who gets to wrestle on Dark. You don't get the TV time because you didn't care enough to fucking do this art the right way.
Well, math is racist, so I think you should apologize for everything you've just said.
Well, you talk about racist, like, as Hamin's laying that out, my immediate thought goes to, I can't imagine that Penta or Phoenix are very happy about this either. And you share a freaking locker room with them.
Unbelievable, bro. In fact, they should take his masks and not let him have them when he has to go out on TV with them, bro. And he has to go out there or not go out.
I would dare say that
at this point.
I would dare say that they're all very happy about him doing stupid shit like that. You know why?
Why?
He makes their gimmick even stronger.
There is that.
They aren't going to buy a Mr. X mask or whatever his name is. They're going to buy a Penta mask, or they're going to buy a Luchasaurus mask, because you don't know the difference of what this person looks like. I don't even know. Luchasaurus used to be an NXT or FCW guy, but I don't know what the guy looks like. I've never seen him without a mask on.
More people know him from Big Brother than anything.
I didn't know that.
And props to those three guys because of doing what they're supposed to do, knowing where their money is. And then this guy's in the locker room and nobody's piecing him up, going, come here, dude. Come here. It's Lucha meeting right now. You come here. If you do this if you don't go on your Instagram and take down every one of those posts, if you don't stop doing this shit, I'm going to make sure you don't have a job here by the end of the year. Like that's the level. Where is the locker room leaders to do this type of shit, bro, and protect our business? Instead, it's Instagram over fucking money, and big money for all of us.
No, that's the part of the business I think that still sticks around. You're thinking of it of grabbing them and telling them that proves they care about them. They want them to keep the job. This is my speculation. Them not saying anything and allowing him to keep making the same mistake over and over again. And then if Tony Khan comes up and goes, what do you guys wear masks? What do you think about this? And you just go, that's enough to get a guy fired back in the day. Hey, well, what do you think about this guy out there wrestling? Don't even have to say no. You just don't say yes.
But that's going to go over Khan's head.
It might not, because then Cody could be like, oh, you should get rid of them because these guys look at somebody. There's enough people up the food chain where Penta, Ray Phoenix, or Luchasaurus are never going to get heat. They're never going to be the ones, but they plant the seed for people above them to make the decision. That's the part of the business I don't like either, because you should go to a young guy that looks like that and coach him up, because he could be a big star and then you might need a job one day. And here we come back to where we were,
Yeah.
But people don't think that way anymore.
Brody's kid works the Lucha gimmick in there better than he does. He's got more
works the commentary gimmick better than some of them too.
That's true.
By comparison, I saw pictures from Dragon Lee is going to be having a little girl, and they had their big gender reveal party yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
You look around that room and you know who everybody is, because everybody is in their fucking mask. Like every one of the luchadors that was there, like they don't leave their house in Mexico without that freaking mask on.
They don't beat their wife either without her. Blue
so they're essentially double masking every time they go out.
Bushi's the smart one. There's a guy in Japan who wears two fucking masks. He's got one over the other one, so he can sell
three masks
and COVID masks. He's got to have all triple down. But yeah, there's another rant about that. And so so that's not the Dragon Lee that we talk about in NXT, who is now off TV and also tweeting strange things that he shouldn't, which will only bring him more heat and keep him off TV. But they don't get it, and they never will. So we were talking about Dragon Lee, I believe, probably a New Japan guy if Jargo's talking about it. Yeah, all right. Good enough. Then we get also Seth in an out of nowhere get over match where he's talking shit about Cesaro swinging him 22 times in the big swing. This is the heat that we've been looking for from our locker room leader, Seth Rollins. Okay, moving on.
What is there to even say about Seth Rollins at this point? Like, is there a more damaged property that should have been a moneymaker inside of that company than Seth Rollins? Maybe Kevin.
Why should he have been a moneymaker? Explain to me that.
Well, I mean, I'm just looking at his skill set, his look, and his ability on a microphone. Those three things, he's higher than most. They pushed him to the freaking moon, and now he's just become a parody of Seth Rollins.
I like that. I mean, they want him to be Triple H light, and he never got over. Beast Slayer, Architect, Seth freaking Rollins, Iowa's own, baby daddy Seth Rollins, the man's man. Like, when you got to keep switching like that, you're never over. You've never gotten over. And I'll tell you, even though they came up under with the help of Joey Mercury, the Shield still sucks at a lot of wrestling. I watched in Roman's no selling on the arm stuff in the main event. He might be the "you are my tribal chief," but he still don't know even the basics of how to sell and get things over after they're getting massive arm heat on him, popping his shoulder out of socket, and then he starts throwing right hands and picking him up for a power bomb with just a squeeze on my arm. That's enough for the sell. Now back to no selling. Seth Rollins' promo skills are among the worst ever. And also Falcon's Arrow superplex kick out, buckle bomb, Superman punch, no sell. At least we got rid of that. And then Moxley couldn't get over in WWE, the worst cage match of all time versus Jericho, who can get everybody over except for Luther, in that weapons cage match, which was a complete abortion. Finally gets to AEW where he can show his promo skills and be halfway cool, but they wouldn't even let him do that in WWE to be James Dean because they couldn't get it then. So all three of those Shield guys were put together because it's stronger to take three greenies who are sexually good looking and put them there because you want them for little kids and moms to fucking do that. You can hear the difference in the screams when they come through the curtain, and to put them in the crowd. That was all brilliant shit to get them over. Then the bell rings. Then it's time to shine solo. And we see so many holes in the fucking game, bro. So many holes from guys who keep claiming that they're at the top of the fucking mountain, when the reality is they're not. They're the court jester most of the time. They're not the king and queen. So this was another throwaway. Go ahead. And Cesaro didn't even come out after all that shit talk.
Right. I was going to say, and then he ends up wrestling Shinsuke Nakamura, who everybody thought was going to be like this great prodigy because he had a couple of really good matches in the Tokyo Dome, comes over, has one good match against Sami Zayn, and since then he's just been cashing checks at the retirement home. Yeah. And I mean, who in the hell can blame him?
I mean, I'm not my cousin Skeeter, who's got a scooter at the skate park. Steve, did you see that? Shinsuke Nakamura.
Oh yeah. That's what I want to get to.
Mm-hmm.
That was part of the WWE's YouTube channel highlights, was the scooter backstage promo. That was part of the highlights. That and the Old Spice spot with Truth, or should I say Juice, as the Japanese guy says, the Japanese ninja. That whole segment, the scooter throw, was part of the Fastlane highlights that WWE wants to say, you got to see this. And then played the whole thing with the scooter, and then Nakamura disappears, probably like a ninja, because Vince thinks they're all ninjas, and then just comes out from behind the wall. That's great. I mean, your Japanese promos, man, have come back strong.
They're back.
Pay-per-view.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. We'll write down
our juice. Our juice is back.
Our juice. Yeah,
I saw the scooter though.
Most extreme elimination challenge is all I want. But yeah, if your cousin Skeeter's got a scooter at the skate park, but he didn't hit the Smith grind at 40 degrees and it should have been 30 degrees. And he like, what the fuck are we talking about, dude? What is going on to build heat in matches? Why isn't everybody involved who wrote this completely fired? Absolutely. And then we get to the warlord himself, the Nigerian Nightmare, Apollo Crews versus Big E. They had decent chemistry in ring, but the finishes here, why are they doing these asinine finishes going into it? Okay, we're going to take Apollo Crews after 5 years, meeting his kid, coming to America, comes out. We're going to do the Idi Amin fucking Bin Hamin, Yala fucking foreigner voices. And then we're going to put two militant black guys behind them. I'm sure they'll have a machete soon enough as well. And they'll be talking about blood diamonds. So instead of heels going over strong here, we do a tech with two power wrestlers Power, impact, boom, hits you with something and it's over. Wrestlers, guys who can fucking lift a car off of somebody in the streets, how strong they are. We do the back and forth technical wrestling, try and roll up, small package, roll over into a bridge. The ref gets the count wrong. The announce team goes, is that the finish? Wait, I guess Big E wins. And then Cruz gets his heat back. You're going to get your heat back right after. These are the worst finishes. And I know this because I've booked them and I've been a part of them. No, the babyface does not get over by retaining the title in a fucking catch wrestling way, especially when people want to see you get hit with the Thundermaker from them. Then the excuse is, well, heels get their heat back right away so we can keep the title on him because that's what we wanted to do, but he needs heat. Well, he just lost the match, which is the finality and the psychology of it, and fucking getting his heat back right away is just a fucking limp dick way to try and put it back on him. Nobody gets over. The finish should have been Apollo Crews up sneaky with feet on the fucking ropes in a roll up. If you wanted to do that, finish back and forth. And then right afterwards, Apollo Crews should have got heat on Big E after winning. Heels need heat. This is a fucking mid-card pay-per-view, low-card pay-per-view at best, going to WrestleMania. That's the build for some gimmick match for Big E to come back and have a fucking Nigerian nightmare parking lot machete fight with Tim Alberino fucking refereeing if need be. They just miss and miss and miss. You build up a heel and then you have him lose, but the excuse is he'll get his heat back. No, he won't. No, he won't. That'll save just that segment this much. You've just undercut the last fucking 4 weeks of work, and now he doesn't mean shit going forward after losing that match. So nobody got over, no heat, no heels, no title change. Dumb as fuck.
Yeah, it was a waste of basically 7 minutes on a pay-per-view so that they can waste another 3 weeks of television to get to the match that they want at WrestleMania.
Right.
And this is the problem with WWE booking, because they do this shit all the time where you're expecting a payoff and instead they drag the story out for another 3 or 6 weeks that you should have just ended the goddamn program 6 weeks ago, because by now I'm just sick of it by the time we actually get to the payoff.
Yeah. The heels need heat, and this guy is out of the gate, a new heel, trying to do as much as he can with what stupid shit they're telling him to do. But if you don't give him the fucking heel win right there, and he's supposed to be a big heel, but we're doing wrestling, that's not it. Heels break the rules. That's how they stay over as heaters. I don't know who's booking these finishes, whether it's Sasha or this or the main event. But it's completely
both guys, because like you said, both guys are they're big, powerful, bruising kind of guys. They can't even wrestle for 6 minutes. And now you want me to like take him seriously in a 12-minute like knockdown, throwdown fight? You actually hurt both guys in this match.
Yep. Big Evil Pop says, Ben, who botched that finish? Everyone or just the ref? The booker botched that finish, bro. That finish should not be done hardly only on a spot show where nobody's watching, so you can keep the belt on the babyface and then the heel can get a little heat back. But as soon as you do that on TV, you just feel it as lukewarm at best. Stevie, what are you thinking?
I just went to my happy place of thinking I was more interested actually where Tim Alberino is after hearing all that.
He detached from, but did you like the Machete Wars callback? That's all I really care.
I do like that. I do like him if he would probably draw a lot of more people than they draw if he was special referee.
It's true.
Big E being classic babyface, punishing Apollo Crews and talking trash to him. Yeah, classic babyface, dude. This is once again, who's the babyface?
Did you like that on SmackDown? They fucked it up on SmackDown. They had the face via.
I saw that. Yeah.
And then he gets so hot. Big E walks out, gets in a guy. I'm so mad at you. Gets in a golf cart, goes 100 fucking yards instead of running to him. And then they fight in the back and pay it off on SmackDown that they're beating the shit out of each other instead of waiting to the pay-per-view. It's just. I don't know who these agents are, bro, but they got to
turn a negative into a positive. Big E has a skill for finding people that he has no idea what their location is. He's essentially a psychic. So he can find all these missing and exploited children in the country, maybe the world. I think he's, quite frankly, like wasting his time in WWE. He could be doing a lot of good in this world.
Clearly,
How do you know where you drive 100 yards? Like, I know where you're at, Ben, and I'm like I still would have to think, okay, I was there before. Where's Ben live? Like, he just knows where to. This is wrestling,
clearly,
man. This is so stupid.
No, well, it's simply explained. You see, he got in the golf cart because that specific golf cart, he knew that it had GPS coordinating and he could just ping the phone and have a direct location. That's why he had to take the golf cart.
Well, they
This
all
just
got
proves the government's watching you. They're tracking every movement.
They all have tracking vaccines. Big E's got the app. He knew right where he was.
Right.
He knew right where he was.
And the fucked up part is that's not far-fetched.
And well, what like the ridiculousness is, I'm gonna pull all my shit off and I'm coming to kick your ass. Now let me get in this golf cart.
I'm gonna get ready to podcast. Come on, I'm gonna get ready to podcast. I'm done. I gotta get in front of the microphone.
Nothing says I'm
working my gut. Look at that
5 mile an hour fucking golf cart trip. Oh my god, bro.
There's no bigger, like, even when he's trying to be serious and kick some ass, he hops in a golf cart. So he looks like a joke anyway.
To go,
it's probably his idea. Like, wouldn't it be funny if I just hop in the golf cart?
Like so New Day, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm surprised what would have even been better if you wanted to be a bigger asshole is have Riddle there. He pushes Riddle down, takes a scooter and fucking scoots over to get to him. You know, that's how close we are.
Can I use your
Linda
scooter?
McMahon's catatonic over in the corner in the wheelchair.
Unreal. Stevie abs all day, baby. Then I think we got some other dumb shit I can't remember, but this main event, and this is what triggered me. 2 minds that I have written with and booked with before we're putting this over as the right way to go at the end. Edge on the outside, so you know something's happening. But before that, Uso runs in, hits the heat on Daniel Bryan, fucking lays him out while he's down, while Reigns is down. Edge fucks him off, but then also where like Daniel Bryan, there was a missed shot, so Edge gets hit. So Edge, he can't take that, and he wears everybody out, leaves in a frustrated rage, and then fucking Reigns just puts his arm over on Daniel Bryan while he's down. This is after a ref bump, and another ref walks in, and the enforcer, who's looks like might count the pin, goes off rogue and does his own thing. And then the heel gets a fucking layover win on him out of nowhere. This makes the entire referee corps look stupid. This also should have been no contest, thrown out the match, so it takes it away from the fans, and that keeps the belt on Roman. It keeps Edge super strong and Daniel Bryan the underdog. Instead, they pay it off with the fucking big super jack dude.
And I am the head of the table, the tribal chief.
Doing a cheap fucking layover instead of getting up and picking up Daniel Bryan, killing him, and having that be the finish. That would have been okay. Instead, he looks like a pussy who's got to steal one because of the hands of Edge on a guy he's way bigger than. If they would have just thrown out the match of it being no contest, would have been way bigger stakes going into WrestleMania for all 3 of them. This was a completely wrong finish with 20% payoff compared to what it could have been, keeping each of those characters intact going forward. Stevie, go ahead.
Who gives a fuck? Really, who cares? It all sucks.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Well, they
my mic is tuned up. I don't care. You can't even bother me today. My mic sounds good. It's just whatever, dude. I mean, it's just, when are we going to get past the tired all formula? Not that I know exactly what the new good formula should be, but like I said before, do the opposite of everything you're doing. You're not going to make any less money. There's no fans. You're still going to use the excuse of limited capacity to not be able to sell out WrestleMania 2 days in a row. So just do whatever you're going to do. But they are doing whatever they want to do, and it's not good. So you just got to do the George Costanza opposite day each and every day from now on.
Paul Heyman's in this. Edge is in this. Daniel Bryan's in this. Why can't we say, no, this is the wrong finish? Wrong. We have 5 or 6 options to go to, and this is the lowest on the fucking totem pole to fucking be doing that type of shit, bro.
Because Edge is getting $3 million a year. Paul's getting paid way more money for what he's doing. You know, he's getting paid essentially to still keep Brock somewhat happy, which is fine. Get your money. Roman Reigns is getting paid. Daniel Bryan's getting paid. Daniel Bryan has a creative spot in backstage. But I'm telling you what, they probably all did fight for their cause. They got, but let's just do it this way. Let's just get through this week. Let's just get through the pay-per-view. I know you don't accept that, Ben, but after 10, 20, 30, 100 times, you're going to be like, well, it's your dumb fault for paying me the money. I'm going to take the money. I'm going to do what I can best when I'm out there with it. But what can you do?
What about, I get it 10, 20, 30 times and it goes, how about 2, 3, 4 times where you stand up for your business and educate someone and then forward, they know what the fucking shit is going on instead of being placated, being like, yeah, I guess till next week.
No, because what are you going to do? Your union going to strike? Oh, I forgot there's no union. You're going to go to your union rep? Oh, I forgot there's no union. You're going to think they can't replace me? They sure as hell can. Edge could go away tomorrow, and by 3 weeks, everybody would have forgotten about him at this point. No offense against him. It's anybody. Roman Reigns went away for how many months?
Keith Lee, Fiend. I mean, go on.
Roman Reigns didn't wrestle at WrestleMania. Did you see anybody asking for refunds? I'm not saying that any of these guys aren't great talents and they aren't over in their own way, but they know right now that all the cards are really stacked in WWE and the office's favor because the TV rights are going up. Talent pay is not going up. Bonuses aren't going up. There's no crowd to tell you you're getting over. Nobody can really afford merchandise at this point. There's no real influx of new video games and other things to show that you're over with the kids. So what do you got? That's just the way I'm looking. The talent have to be smart enough to realize that right now that they don't have the leverage outside of just trying to work Jacksonville Dixie for an overinflated contract.
I can't disagree, but it's fun.
Now they're cutting your internet off too. They see you can't mess with these people, Ben.
I'm
frozen.
We try to come back. Check.
Jargo, do you agree or disagree with anything that I said about that? I didn't say it's right. I just said that's what they have looking at them.
No, I agree with everything. My question is, does WWE realize they turned Edge heel last night, or are they just going to find out that they turned Edge heel last night?
My thought is Vince is using the old term when they came into the Attitude Era, shades of gray. But these are confusing shades of gray. This is not choose who to like and who to hate, and we present it to you that way. It is, we're shoving this down your throat. Now we're going to throw this in here to confuse you, and now nobody gets over in any way.
Yeah, because I can't help but think, if you actually had a full arena of fans, the way that finish went down last night, Edge opens Monday Night Raw, comes walking out and gets in the ring. If you've got 15,000 people there, 12,000 people are going to be booing Edge for hitting Daniel Bryan with that chair.
Mm-hmm.
They turned Edge heel, and I don't think they know it.
And almost 15,000 people will be cheering for Roman Reigns, who booed him as a babyface, and now they're cheering him as a heel.
Yeah.
Y'all on my back, or am I still banging?
Nope, you're back.
Yeah, I don't know. StreamYard gives me like a little weird signal, but whatever. I'm gonna call Spectrum and scream. The heel turn. I agree with that, man. You can't hit Daniel Bryan, even if it's but they'll go, well, he hit him first, so it's retribution. It's just Edge. He's still a baby, and
so now he looks like a stupid dick. He was just a dick. Now he's a stupid dick, if that's the argument. Because I mean, like, there's no way that Edge couldn't see that was an accident and Roman Reigns moved out of the way.
That's the stupid babyface thing. That's the Sasha thing. And the other people, there's misunderstandings. It's like if one of Tom Brady's, his left tackle, bumped into him because the guy was bull rushing him. He gets up and starts punching the left tackle. Like, how dare you? Like, it's all your fault. I got sacked. Like, what?
And speaking of strange dicks, Effie discusses getting paid to play gay Ric Flair in an upcoming independent wrestling film. Effie, the host of Big Gay Brunch, made his return to the podcast with managing editor Dick Hausman after Effie and his role about Rainbow Star in the upcoming independent pro wrestling stoner comedy, a pro wrestling movie, The Legend of Dirty Ron. So he's playing gay Ric Flair. There's a bunch here if you want to go read it. I'm not going to read it. But this also goes to something Strangler Steve and I talk about. It seems every day, you have Sunny Kiss, you have Nyla Rose, you have plenty of, in the gay characters been around, since forever, Rip to whoever, Adrian Street, whoever wants to do it. But it just seems like now in 2021, this normal is, not that it's abnormal, but like this promotion of how sexually dysfunction and strange can we make things, and that wrestling is for, as gay as it can be right now, dude, and getting there, whether it's respect women who are bisexual and out of the closet lesbians and don't say anything bad about it or else you're homophobic, to turn around and do the most pomp and circumstance, effeminate bullshit that's supposed to be about men fighting in an arena going back to Roman times in the Colosseum, but now we have limp wrist bullshit everywhere we go and normalized as the fucking Colosseum killers. There's an extreme push of strange queerness in wrestling right now, and will that stop? It's really just another clown ass thing that's taking our business down a level, bro.
I'm happy that you said clown ass thing, because that's exactly what it is. Because one of the biggest arguments that I hear in favor of all of this is, well, they've done it in Mexico for 100 years. Yeah, and they're literally called exoticos. It's the sideshow. That's what it is. And you're trying to make it the norm, and it's still the sideshow, whether you want to admit it or not.
What is this gay Ric Flair thing again? I'm sorry, I'm so out of the loop.
Dude, Effie, who is in the indies as openly gay and fucking flamboyant, and there's some new movie that's a rib coming out, and he's playing a gay Ric Flair, and the movie's a B level thing, but it's everything in like the marketing of homosexuality in the last 5 years, from M&M's to Baylor Club for everybody. How'd that work out for you? All that kind of.
Why is it whenever they do the gay thing, they always go for the overly flamboyant? Like, most of the gay people that I know are like, you wouldn't know that they were gay unless they told you that they're gay.
I go back to my infamous Vince McMahon triggering thing about being the proud gay American and the boa and the rouge makeup and all this other stuff. I guess it's generally a wrestling stigma within the mind of a promoter or even filmmakers to some degree, that they need to appeal to the most visual, lowest common denominator to get their point across. I mean, house hunters in these house shows and even the fixing shows now have openly gay people that look just the same as we do. You wouldn't even know. They are even basic cable is more evolved than pro wrestling. I'll take that back. TLC is the basic cable of Florida.
But you have Darren Young on your roster.
Sisters.
You do nothing.
Darren Young, affirmative action dream hire. Right? College educated man, looks like Cena, as light-skinned, African Americans you want him to be, and openly gay, not effeminate, not wearing fucking feather boas, not being Billy and Chuck and posing down and having to rub cocks on each other, not Sunny Kiss where, I look like a woman and my ass is tight, but that's you now having homosexual tendencies, or Nyla Rose with trans fucking arguments of why is a man fighting a woman just because they dress like a woman and want to identify it. If she wants to fight men, or he wants to fight men and dress like a woman, I got no problem with that. I got a problem with saying you're a woman when you're not fighting women and only fighting women. Now you're doing a let's break their brain psychology argument to your audience, not telling the right story in the ring. But if I was to bring that up, no, you asshole. If you wants to bail on the dick and fucking then do it, okay, then we're in a different argument altogether. but you're not going to set up these premises where I have to dance around logic to fucking placate feelings. And that's what we're doing with all these. And then where is the gay community against the character like an Effie that's over flamboyant saying, stop portraying us this way, please. I'm a college professor with a fucking master's degree and exposable income. And fucking, I don't walk around doing all this type of shit. Like, where are these fucking, professionals that are really trying to push this and saying, here's the character that we want as a Darren Young? Not this other fucking shit that's Billy and Chuck to the end of days, bro. But it's still.
If they did say that, what would be the famous Vince McMahon line if they went to him and said, "This is what we want"?
Well, you know what I say? Fuck them. Yeah, well, fuck them all. Fuck them left. Fuck them right. Fuck them.
And how do we know that WWE didn't approach Darren Young with the boa and the rouge makeup and tell him? We don't know that if that was ever after he had come out in that TMZ interview at LAX airport, just kind of glossed it over. Who knows if they didn't pitch that to him? It's pure speculation, but I know the way the place operates, trying to capitalize on that.
The way to do it is so simple, and you make them just the wrestler who people.
That doesn't pop Vince and Bruce and everybody in Upper Mat. That doesn't pop them.
What will pop their pocketbooks is when he wins the Intercontinental title, goes backstage, and people are saying good job, and then his boyfriend is there, gives him a quick kiss. Doesn't have to be a big makeout session, just to show relationship is as normal as anything that a straight person has, and you have the same shit instead of, oh my God, girlfriend, you did it, all that bullshit. And then you get the fucking demographic that every marketer wants behind them, the gay, indispensable, super dedicated money that will keep rolling in based on them fucking being portrayed the right way, dude. Okay. That's short-sighted, short money.
Let's meld. First, I want to get a joke out, and then let's meld. It might not be a joke, and then let's meld into conspiracy horseman territory where Jargo can join us. I can picture Vince when they give the little peck on the cheek or on the lips, going, "God damn it, you got to get in there!" And he goes over and kisses the guy. Gotta get him in the tongue. God damn it, be a man.
Gronk, this is how you kiss a man.
Yeah, this is how you fall off into a cock. How do you like that, Gronk? What do we talk about with people that have all the money in the world that we're looking at right now, where we say to them, don't you have enough? Bill Gates, don't you have enough? The people, the politicians, don't you have enough? You've made hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars. The Jeff Bezos, everybody, the Rothschilds, the central banks, all these places, they don't care about money. They care about power. They care about having control over people.
They could be
just because Vince
bottom. That's what you could be.
Yeah, just because Vince only has a fraction of what they have doesn't mean he's not poisoned to the same extent to control human beings. Even when he was just a mild-mannered 100 millionaire, I saw the marionette puppets that he was stringing along and play games with because he had all the money in the world. Even before he was a billionaire, he had his own gas station at his house because he didn't go to a gas station. He didn't shop for food. These people are not connected with the reality of quarterlies or making the stock calls. They can go through the calls and suffer through them and give bullshit answers. But when they get off, like, USA Fox are still paying us and we're going to get more next time. Thanks, NFL. That's it. So what are they going to do? They're not sitting there going, wow, if this gay guy gets the Intercontinental or the world title or teams up with Cena, because basically they were calling Darren Young the Black Cena for a while. If Cena gave him the stamp of approval with the wrestling fans, you could double your money with these two demographics. But they don't care about that. If they did, they would have done all these things multiple times many, many decades ago and continued the trend to follow culture. They don't do it. They get paid for sucking. Why would they try and be good?
In the immortal words of George Carlin, we call it fucking with people. That's what they enjoy.
They're in a big club and we're not in it.
Yep, absolutely. And in a kind of the same way, but completely different, they're doing the same thing with Damian Priest right now. You have a guy who could be like basically your Latino version of Roman Reigns, and instead of booking him like he's a badass when he comes up from NXT and just having him go through people, you put him with fucking Bad Bunny.
Who's also could be as well.
Robo Ben is back. Oh,
Ben coming in from SETI.
Unbelievable, bro. Unbelievable. Am I Robo?
You're better now.
You're good now.
Our final story of the day, Natty discusses the importance of sisterhood in the WWE locker room. We're on the road to WrestleMania, so tension is high in the WWE locker room. Everybody wants women to be a part of WrestleMania, and WrestleMania being literally 4 weeks away, I see competitiveness, but I also see sisterhood. And so many of us in WWE, we understand how important it is to go to the ring, to compete, to be strong, empowered women, but we also know that we need each other. We all need each other, and I think it's an important message to send, not just to women around the world, but to people around the world, that we're kind of in this together, and we work better when we work together, and we can be competitive, and we can be fierce, and we can have our own individual goals. But at the end of the day, there has to be that level of respect. So a lot of us really carry that with us.
I would tell Natty to blow it out of her ass, but she might take that the wrong way.
Well, that's Tessa. Yeah, dude, this, another failed experiment here with her and Tamina missing the money. And, we all need each other. Like, how, if anybody comes back on Natty for anything, and then it would be a big, oh, how dare you? How dare you disrespect us as women? Meanwhile, watch me with my sister get our gimmicks out and fucking pour whipped cream all over our titties. We need each other. We're fierce. It's about competition. It's about women supporting women. Now look at me in my negligee and put this whipped cream on my tits.
Visit my OnlyFriends where you can subscribe for only $19.95 a month.
We're in a red hot feud, but everybody get your Moscato. We've got to take the group picture after Royal Rumble. You wonder why this shit is losing 200,000 viewers the 2 nights before a pay-per-view, where you lose 9 to 12% of your audience. And
you guys talk about the bubble all the time, right? Natalya literally was born into the bubble. She grew up in the bubble. She's lived her entire adult life in the bubble. She doesn't know that there's a world outside of the bubble.
That's a great point. Stevie, how are you feeling about
wrestling families always turn out normal, by the way. It's been proven throughout history.
Yeah, man.
No, I say it every week on the Friday show. Why are they doing these interviews? What are these press junkets or whatever, these phone interviews? You're killing every bit of mystique, and I know you got to give an answer, and that also is they got to give an answer. And it just feels like she's just giving an answer to it that says nothing for a long time. So why do we care? Okay, competition's fierce, but we're all in this together. Okay, well, you just told me I don't have to cheer or boo anybody, so why should I watch the show?
What if instead of pointing the WrestleMania sign, you just lowered your hand and pointed it at Natty's gimmicks? And you're like, that's where I'm going.
Hey, Royal Rumble, it's every selfie for themselves,
Shane man jump into them motherfucking titties from about 60 feet up in the air.
Yeah, Shane, take the big bump at Mania. And then we can green slime them after we're done, too.
Crash pad, pal. Crash pad.
Green slime, black slime. We're going to cover them gimmicks. Yeah. But we covered all the gimmicks from Fastlane, the Ass Lane, bad finishes, hard work. Dude, Sheamus and Drew put in that work. There's no doubt about it. But, hitting each other for real when this shit's phony, that's a whole nother argument altogether. Of what we're going to stop leg slapping and we're going to kick the shit out of each other to 60%. Nope, that ain't further in the biz either, Briz. So, y'all, man, I can't say thank you enough to both of you guys for filling in on the Monday Locker Room. We've had plenty of things going on behind the scenes at Hamin Media Group, and to have you guys really step up and be like, hey, dude, I got your back. That meant the world to me this week, and really alleviate a lot of stress from my weekend. So I got to say thank you to both of you guys.
No problem.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
It's kind of what we do here at Hamin Media, you know.
Yeah, man. We made it through, you guys. Fastlane. UFC was interesting. A lot of knockouts. We'll be recording with Russo tomorrow, Stevie and I, to get to run down all of the SmackDown madness. I'm sure we'll touch on it.
Russo and I might be in person together. Because
I'm
not sure. We might be in person. We're trying to figure it out. I haven't heard from him yet, but if he has to spend time with his family, it just might be us two. We'll cover it either way. We'll figure it out.
Well, not a problem. That would be cool, though, to have you guys in studio
you
together.
You can see what a massive human being is. He's like 6'6".
Yeah, dude, for sure. Jargo, what do you got going on the Destino front and everything else? House shopping. I know you're Godzilla over there, so I'm sure you got plenty of that today.
Yeah, it's kind of what I do, man. I'm looking for the house, and of course we'll have a new episode of Destino coming out with myself, and Paz from the two-man power trip is going to be joining me on this week's episode to go over the semifinals and finals from the New Japan Cup and Douchebag Ospreay. So that should be an awful lot of fun. We'll have an all-new episode of Hitting the Marks with Jargo and RBV, hopefully a little bit later on this week over on the affiliate channel, HaminMediaGroup.podbean.com. And I got to give a shout out to my man, Stevie Richards, because Stevie had this idea on Friday about another new show that I am currently working on developing. If you're friends with me on Facebook, you follow the top 10, and I'm going to kind of cross that with a little bit of Paul Harvey. And we're looking at like a daily podcast coming out of my mouth into your ear holes. And I believe it's going to be called The Conclusion with Michael Jargo. So that be on the lookout for that as well.
Write that down. Conclusion. We're going to use that.
Happy ending.
and you can now visit my website, michaeljargo.com, which is hittingthemarks.com. So
big up you again, because you put some hours in this week on hackerhamin.podbean.com. Redid the whole main page into a website. All the archives are there from the beginning, 2017 to where we are now. And I thank you, man, for putting in those hours, getting that stuff done, because it looks great and really, gives us a home right now where if you want to find everything we got going on, hackerhamin.podbean.com. And thanks to Jargo, looks really great.
There's some awesome stuff in those archives if you really want to sit down, take the time and go through them.
Yeah, and you did.
It's all available and free.
Yeah, all free at hackerhamin.podbean.com. That's a big proponent of me, free media, as well as all of our Patreons that we're helping to develop, like Two-Man Power Trip, Hamin Media Group, the beautiful people, new episodes out there on Patreon and Russo brand, and our own Damian Sandow that we're happy to have on staff with April Hunter on the A Show as well. Big match this weekend, which I still have to watch that as well on NWA, man. So we're just pumped to be collaborating with all these unbelievable performers and talents to develop paid side, but keeping things free here. Stevie, anything we can push for StevieRichardsFitness.com, Force USA for all your home gym needs. Use the code Stevie. And if you still want X chair wheels, I'm sure we can probably get them.
It's actually ForceUSA.com/Stevie. No code required. Also Diamondback Fitness, that you said Stevie, but that's okay. DiamondbackFitness.com/Stevie. And now I'm sitting in a chair. So that's it.
Well, y'all infidels, you know where to go. I saw some ProWrestlingTees.com/Ben Hamin sales this weekend. Appreciate that. You can get 33% more free at the Broasters for another 8 days by ordering the Vince Russo Bro coffee online as well, and Zordos olive oil to get all of your meals a little bit more healthy with ultra premium Greek olive oil from our own Triple D from the Academy podcast. If you're into Star Trek, that's the place to be. Head to Head with NFO podcast as always. Got my first booking for August, so a little hope spot there with Big Time Wrestling out in Watervliet, New York, and I had the 2 CW shows pushed and canceled to the fall. So that's what I do, infidels. It's the Nightmare Maker, the Move Shaker, and Dr. Jargo in the house for your Monday locker room here at Hamin Media Group, infidels. Y'all Fastlane.